Hi guys, this is Vixxstarr. Today we're going to do a super quick tutorial on how to make this 3D micro donut charm. Okay, so I haven't done a band count, but I don't think it would take any more than 20 of each colour. You want to choose two different colours. I find that two completely different colours work really well for these tiny little charms, and you know, really contrasting, or whatever the word. We're going to get straight into it. So grabbing your loom in staggered configuration. Doesn't really matter where you start, but we're going to be using a starburst. And basically I'm going to do a choc strawberry. So I'm using the burgundy in the rainbow loom and the pink in the rainbow loom. So my base, starting with your base colour, we're going to just go ahead and taking double bands, we're going to do a starburst. Taking two single bands and laying out your starburst, so starting anywhere, going 2, 2, 2, so from the center out again, from the center out 2, pushing your bands down, and last 2 bands. So we've got a starburst. Taking 2 single bands, doubling them in your fingers, and then just slipping that onto the center peg. That's your cap band. That's what it should look like, and we're going to loom up. We will go in behind those 2 doubled the cap bands, grabbing your top and looming up your starburst. So this can be a little bit tricky. Just want to grab, say, those last 2 bands that you lay down. So for me is those ones leading up to the top. Well, there's one of them. Oh gosh, sorry guys. Okay, so the 2 top bands, the last ones are the starbursts that you lay down, bring them back up and onto themselves, just the 2 top. Then move on to the next 2. The next 2 bands, so for me they go off to the left. And then again the next 2 bands. And the next 2 bands, and the next 2 bands, and the last 2 bands. So then we've got our starburst. Nice big hole in the middle there. Push them all right down. That's going to be your bottom row. So now taking 1 single band and just dropping it on any peg, and then again another single band going across to the peg next to it. So we've dropped one, and then we've just gone from that to that one. Can take another single band from that peg to that peg. So we're just doing the perimeter. Another single band, another single band, another single band. Still working in our base colour. And then that one that we dropped, when you get to that last peg, use that one that you dropped instead of putting a band across. Now we are going to loom the whole bottom row. So all of our starburst bands go in, doesn't matter where you start, bring them out and over and into the middle. Same all the way around. So grabbing those 4 bottom bands up over the outside, making sure you don't lose any of your bands until you've done it all the way around. Those last 4. Okay, so you should be left with 2 single bands on each of your pegs for your starburst, and that's your center. Now I want you to grab 2, get your icing ready, grab 2 bands, grab, starting anywhere, 2 bands off their peg, feed those 2, for me, pink bands through and reclaim them. So you got them on your hook, move on to the next one, grab it off the peg, so you got those 2 and those 2 pink, grab 2 more pink, feed them through all of the bands on your hook and reclaim. Moving on to the next, we're going to do this all the way around. So 2 bands through all of those, reclaim, next one off the peg, 2 bands, pulled through, reclaim, next one off the peg, 2 bands, pull through, reclaim, the last one off the peg, so get that last one off the peg, pull the whole thing off, and this is what we've got. We're going to grab 2 bands, but first we're going to get our hook, and we're going to go through, once it focuses for me, we're going to go through those first pink bands, alright? That first stitch, we're going to go through and we're going to pull those 2 bands through all of those, so you should have the first stitch, then the base colour, and then the last for the last stitch. Pull it all the way through, reclaim. Now, this is what it should look like. Okay, what I want you to do, move those bands up on your hook so you don't lose them, and flip it inside out. As you're flipping it, stretch it out a bit, make the bands become a bit more comfortable in themselves. And we're going to move those bands back down on the end, grab 1 band of that icing colour and slip knot. Okay, so I've just slip knot that. So now you just want to have a little play with it. You want to have a look at those last stitches that we did. Okay, if yours looks like this, those last stitches that we did, you want to actually grab them and stretch them out and find the top and pull them through, so they're actually tighter on the bottom of the stitch than they are on the top. They're looser on the top, and that's the icing. So once you can move around and grab those stitches and pull the top side out so it's looser, it'll really take more of that donut look to it, I think. Okay, so then give her a bit of a stretch. We're going to hide this last little one because I don't really need it hanging there. I'm just going to go in through some of my pinks, grab it and pull it through, just that one, stretch that other one that I accidentally just pulled through, grab it again, through some more pinks, just feed it through in and around the circle so that it disappears. And again, and it should hide in as the icing. So there you go. If you move, like I said, those center stitches out and around, it covers up those undercoloured a bit more, so you may need to really give it a stretch. Depends on the bands that you've used, but as you can see for this one I didn't use Rainbow Loom brand bands, and that's how it came out. So these are Rainbow Loom brand bands, and the pink ones are a little bit more solid, so it is a different shape. again. But like I say, they're all different, they're all unique, and yeah, it's a weird looking donut, but I did it the same way that I did this one, so go figure. Like, subscribe, share on Instagram, show me what your donuts look like, and let me know what you thought. Bye. So there you go. I've just pulled on those bands more and just, seriously, I've just twisted those bands and pulled them just that little bit more, and they've flipped around, and now they look like that. So find me on Instagram and Facebook at Vixxstarr and tell me what you thought and show me what yours look like. Thanks, guys.